say predictive approach, this is also called as the linear approach. Project lifecycle stages are performed one after the other in the predictive approach. They first do the requirement analysis 100%, then they do the 100% designing, then they do the coding, build, then test, then deliver, one after the other. So this approach includes number of internal phases that are sequential and executed in a chronological order. Predictive methodology expects to take advantage of high certainty around firm requirement, a stable team, and low risk, where you determine the project scope, time, and cost in the early phases of this life cycle. The predictive methodology is also known as the traditional waterfall approach or methodology, where requirements are typically fixed but can be changed using the change control process, going through the change control board by raising a change request. And activities and work culminate in final output, always a deliverable. In the predictive approach, you're going to deliver the project at the end. It's not incremental delivery. So the iterative approach, like I said, iterative approach improves the product or result through successive prototype or proof of concept. Project benefit from iterative approach when complexity is high, when the project incurs frequent changes, where scope is subject to differing stakeholder views. And this approach may take longer because this is optimized for learning rather than speed of delivery. In iterative approach, activities of the project are repeated in iterations, revision levels, rework until correct. Each new prototype yields new stakeholder feedback and team insights and better understanding. This is an approach that follows feedback. So Agile is an iterative and incremental approach. So what kind of projects benefit from iterative? Like whether you're developing software, designing a website, or refining a recipe, you probably will rely on an iterative process. So iterative is like first iteration, revision one, feedback, accordingly product backlog prioritization happens. Then again, customer wanted you to make some changes. Again, feedback, product, backlog prioritization, again, iteration three, then the product or the service is delivered. So in fact, today, if you look at, there are, fewer and fewer cases of projects that, adapt purely predictive approach. That's because we are living in an age of high complexity and change where predicting outcomes is, fraught with difficulty, and business needs and conditions, as well as, the internal and external enterprise environmental factors change rapidly and without notice. When we say an incremental approach, you see the whole project life cycle within the box. You give multiple deliveries here. Incremental, you call it as. Many businesses and initiatives, they cannot afford to wait for everything to be completed. In these cases, customers are willing to receive subset of the overall solution. So this frequent delivery of smaller deliverables is called as an incremental approach. This is optimized for speed of delivery, an approach that provides finished deliverables. So iterative, incremental, when you add these two, it becomes agile. It has the attributes of both of them. Requirements are dynamic, like here, and then here activities are repeated until they are correct, and they give a single delivery. So here also activities are repeated until they are correct, and as per incremental, here you give frequent small deliveries actually. So the iterative, incremental, and the agile approach, they work well for projects that involve new or novel tools, techniques, materials, or application domains. They also work well for projects that require research and development, that have high rates of change during the project, have unclear or unknown requirements, uncertainty or risk, or they have a final goal that is hard to describe. Each project actually finds a spot on the continuum depending upon the frequency of delivery, multiple deliveries or one deliverable at the end, one delivery, and depending upon the degree of change, the project will find a space for themselves. Like when you talk about a project where the frequency of delivery will be low, it means one delivery at the end of the project. That is the meaning of frequency of delivery low, and changes will be low. So this is where your predictive projects will fit. When you talk about projects where degree of changes will be high, changes on the fly, and frequency of delivery will be low, one delivery at the end, then the iterative approach fits here. Incremental is degree of change is low comparatively, and then frequency of delivery will be high, multiple small deliveries. That is incremental. And when you say agile, it actually frequency of delivery is high as per incremental, and degree of change is also high.